The U.S. Trade Representative Michael Froman spoke about the conservation provisions within the Trans-Pacific Partnership today at the Charlie Palmer Steakhouse in Washington, D.C. The event was sponsored by the World Wildlife Fund. There are about 50 people in attendance, including myself, other members of the press. Also, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services was here. Members from key congressional offices were here. The State Department, Embassy of Key Nations were here, as well as the Sierra Club. The first person that spoke was Carter Roberts. He is the president and the CEO of the World Wildlife Fund. He said right now is an incredibly important time for conservation, and it's time to get a hand on the biggest challenges of environmental destruction. These include illegal trade and subsidies, as well as overfishing. He also said that the WWF is, quote, committed to making sure the right environmental provisions are in place in the TPP. After Mr. Roberts spoke, we then heard from the trade rep, Michael Froman. He said that we are in the closing period of the TPP. They're hoping to wrap up all these negotiations by the end of 2013. He said we're in a rebalancing act. The U.S. is in a rebalancing act with Asia, and the TPP is critical to supporting jobs in the United States. He said he wants a trade policy that reflects U.S. values, but also looks into new initiatives as well. But he did say that it's very difficult to talk about these provisions in detail because as of now there is no agreement, and that conservation has been very difficult to negotiate because every country has their own idea of what conservation should look like. And he said even some nations are having a hard time wrapping their hands around what conservation even is. We also spoke with Bill Warren. He's a Friends of the Earth. Before this meeting took place, there was a rally protesting against the TPP's conservation provisions, and here's what Mr. Warren's concerns were.
The worst is the investor-state dispute resolution process, and this is all very wonky and legalistic, and they hide behind that. But what it is, in effect, is a private court for rich investors and big multinational corporations to sue nation-states for money compensation for the cost of complying with public interest environmental regulations.
Mr. Froman did address this issue in the meeting as well. He said, look, no one is going to get 100% of they want. There's 12 nations involved. Everyone has to compromise somewhere, and that we're viewing this process as a living agreement, meaning changes can be made in the future and along the way. As far as the investor state, it can be used to challenge governments, and that there are a series of safeguards in place. There's exceptions for health, environment, and there's also procedural safeguards to make sure that this investor provision is used as intended. He also said that the TPP overall will strengthen the ability of governments to regulate, and that they're not trying to change U.S. law. What he wants to do is incorporate U.S. law where appropriate into the TPP. In Washington, D.C., Perianne, RT.